What's up guys, I'm just a gamer and I'm back with another review. This time I'm reviewing F.I.S.T. Forged in Shadow Torch. It's a Metroidvania style game that for a long while I've heard very good things. Uber from Easy Allies has always said he loved this game, and I've also read some other people say that it's very underrated. And while I did enjoy this game and I think it is good, there are some things I do have an issue with. Combat is great, but one thing I have a problem with there, the story is not as strong, and the map feel, well, it's not that it feels bad, but I'll just get into that later. And the game is good, but there are also a few bugs I ran into. I think I ran into like 2 bugs where like quest items did not show up, and they were like, I was just stuck. I had to like, restart the game and then the item showed up. So like a little buggy here and there, but nothing game breaking or over the top or anything like that. But yeah, overall I did enjoy this game, but there are a few things I did have issue with. So yeah, enough of me talking, let's get into it. Starting with the gameplay, I think this game plays very well. The combat's actually pretty fast and fluid, and you're able to switch between 3 different weapon types like on the fly, mid combo, and it makes for interesting combinations. That's something I didn't learn until later in the game, and even when I did learn it, I did not utilize it as much as I probably should, which probably would have helped me out a lot more. But yeah, combat wise, the game is really good. The one thing combat wise that I just have a problem with is the parry. First off, you actually don't get your parry until like a few hours into the game, and it's so weird because like you're in like up until that point you go into so many combat situations where a parry would have been very helpful, because there are just some attacks where you're fighting multiple enemies that you just can't avoid. You just can't do anything about it. You have to like try to dodge out of the way, and it's just this whole thing where a parry at the beginning would have been much better. And then second, the parry is like third strike parries from Street Fighter, where you have to tilt the stick towards the attacker the moment they attack. And I suck at third strike, so I sucked at the parries in this game, and it was just, I don't know, the parry was just not, it did not feel good. It felt like very abrupt when you have to like try to hit the stick when you're fighting one enemy, and then you're trying to do also forward on the stick to like have them try to do the parry when they're trying to throw a move out. It was just it didn't feel good. I don't know how else to put it. And yeah, it just felt that if they had put the parry in the beginning of the game, you would have been able, or I would have been able to like learn it better as I played along. But since you don't get it until like a few hours in, and it's just also very cumbersome to use, I just didn't like it. That's the only thing about the combat I was just not a fan of, is the parry really. Everything else was great. Like I said, the combos you can do between 3 weapons and mixing and matching and all that, it's fantastic. It's just the parry to me was just, it could have been much better, especially with another Metroidvania game I'm playing right now that gives you a parry off the bat. Those of you who follow me on Twitch know what game I'm talking about, and that game's parry is really good. And then still with gameplay, moving on to traversal. I think the traversal in this game is very well. It's very good. I think the way they space out abilities to help you traverse the map is done pretty good. I will say there is an ability for traversal that I feel you needed much earlier. I just felt like getting it so much later in the game, I felt like if you would have gotten it a bit sooner, it would have helped with the pace of the game a bit more. Because as it stands, I will talk about it when it comes to the map, I'm not getting into it now, but just I felt like the pace needed to be picked up a bit. It dragged a little too long in certain areas, and it would have been sped up with that traversal ability. So overall, I think the traversal and the gameplay of it is fine. I just feel like that one ability, gotten it sooner, would have helped make things go by more smoother. That's all I gotta say. Overall though, gameplay is rock solid in this game. Now on to what I believe is the weakest part of this game, and it's the story. And it's nothing about the animals and them fighting robots. That's fine. It's just the way the story's told. It's just very bare, and it doesn't feel like there's like no, I don't know, there's just something missing to it. Like they just ramble off and they give you information, but they don't really give you any context. For example, the main character, Rayton the rabbit, he was part of a war effort to try to stop the machines, and they lost the we're under assumption they lost the war because the machines have taken over the city, but they don't really explain that. You just have to infer that. And then it's just like these little story bits that they just kind of just come out and they don't flow well. We meet former comrades of Rayton, and yet we don't get the sense of their camaraderie. We don't know how they know each other. We don't know what they went through. We don't know their motivations. Like there's nothing. Like they're just there to be there. And yeah, I just felt like the story of this game was really bare bones and flat, and some of these reveals and I guess supposed to be like these the mystery of it wasn't really there at all. And I mean, also one of the things that I guess a twist that was supposed to happen, I guess it's supposed to be considered a twist, didn't really feel like a twist, just because again we weren't really knowing the characters the twist is about. So I don't know, it's just the story I think was the weakest part of this game, and it just felt very bare bones, and I'm sorry to say this, but soulless. It did not captivate. It was not told well, and yeah, I don't know what else I could say. Very, very weak story. Very, very weak story. Lastly, I want to talk about the map, and the map. The design of the map itself is fine, but it was just not fun to go through it at points. Because when it comes to Metroidvanias, gathering traversal abilities helps you get through certain portions of the map faster. You're able to get shortcuts through things, and it's supposed to help you feel like you've made progress and you can just fly by if you wanted to. And some Metroidvanias, they even give you fast travel points that help you get to certain locations, better, easier. And this map just didn't feel fun to traverse, and the fast travel points just felt too far in certain locations, and it was just not a fun map to traverse at certain points, especially at points when you have to go back and forth. And like I said, the fast travel points, the way they were spaced, getting to one or another was just so much more of a hassle that it was just, I don't know, it wasn't that fun to go through this map. I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, again, design wise, it's not bad, but I feel like they could have implemented the fast travel points in a few better locations, and also just a few more shortcuts to make getting around easier. I mean, there is literally only one fast travel point that's immediately next to another travel point that gets you to another location faster. It's super weird. It was just not a fun map to traverse. I mean, not complete. I mean, I will say there are some points that are good, but overall, I felt like there was more of a hassle when I had to go to a certain area, and I was like, oh man, I have to traverse through all this and get through that. And it was just, it wasn't all that great. It wasn't all that great. I don't know what else to say. It's just the map could have been, it's not designed better, but I just want to say it could have been made easier to traverse. It could have been made a lot smoother in that regard. Again, I'm rambling, I know, apologies. But yeah, those are my thoughts on F.I.S.T, Forged, and Shadow Torch. Overall, the strongest part of this game is the gameplay. The combat's really good, except for the parry. I think the parry is just not great. The traversal abilities are good, varied, but I just feel like one of them could have been implemented a lot sooner to help just get around easier, pick up the pace of the game. Story wise, again, I think that's the lowest, roughest part of the game. It was just not that great, honestly. It was just not that great. So much was left ambiguous and up in the air, and it was just not good in my opinion. And then lastly, the map there was just something about it that was just not fun to go through. I mean, like I said, like even though the traversal abilities were fine and they were help you get around and all that good stuff, at the same time, there was just certain portions of the map that it was just like, oh, well, do I have to go through here? And it's like, yes, I do. It just felt like a chore to get through the map sometimes. But overall, despite me saying all that, I did enjoy the game. I think it's rock solid. If you're into Metroidvanias, I would say check it out. It's pretty good, even though currently there is a much better one out at the moment. Again, if you're following me on Twitch, you know what game I'm talking about. But it is a good game, despite the shortcomings here and there. And again, I did run into those few bugs where I just couldn't progress until I restarted the game to get through there. It was weird. But regardless, I did enjoy it. I think it was fine. Give it a shot. But those are my thoughts. That's my review. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or comment down below. I appreciate any feedback. Subscribe. I'm streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/justagamerink, all together in word, or you can click link below. But yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and have a good game.